All right. Hello, everyone. How are we feeling? Oh, it's really great to be here. Thank you so much to AMD for having us, and I really look forward to catching up with some of you after this session. My name is Tris, and I'm a product manager at Google DeepMind. I work on frontier AI research, things that are intended to bring you completely new capabilities. My goal, my mission in my job is to give completely new capabilities to humanity, and I think that starts actually with you. And so today, I'm here to talk to you a little bit more about how we advance the frontiers of AI research and how we put that in your hands so that you can build amazing things. Because you're the architects of what comes next. A better, more AI-driven world is only a first step. How is it that we share that benefit with humanity? And that's what I'm here to talk about. At Google DeepMind, we have a bold mission to solve intelligence and use that to solve many of the problems that face humanity today. This is really very seen in, innovations like AlphaFold, which has revolutionized the way that we perform medicine and science in many ways. And we've also used that to sort of find some of the noise that we saw in biology and turn that into signal, something that we can understand, we can use to move forward, not just as builders, as developers, but as a species. And now we're using that same spirit, this same idea of finding in the noise amazing things that can advance the frontier of what's possible under the ocean, to understand the beautiful and complex sounds of dolphins. But how do you run a massive AI model on a boat? Where do you put the data center? And so we take that AI data center into the field. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Please roll the video.
When I was 12 years old, I would page through the encyclopedia. I would stop on the whale and dolphin page, and I would go, I wonder what is going on in the minds of these animals. Language, to me, is the ultimate question about intelligence. The thing that we haven't been able to nail without a great tool. You know, how do you decipher another species? The main use of DolphinGemma is to eventually look at their natural language patterns and match it with the underwater video. That's how we really figure out their language if they had it. All right, beautiful day, woohoo!
Imagine a world where you could talk to an animal. DolphinGemma is the first LLM for dolphins. We've leveraged over 40 years of Denise's vocalization research to create this large language model to generate new synthetic dolphin sounds. These sounds will help us to one day hopefully communicate with the dolphins.
Dad shows up at my office one day, and he's wearing one of his many wearable computers. And I'm like, ooh, this guy's like a techno man, right?
I was like, well, I do wearable computers. This sounds like a summer project. We'll get this done for you. Here it is 15 years later. We've engineered this Chat Junior device to play our synthetic dolphin sounds underwater. Let's see which one this one is. That is the signature whistle for Denise. So whenever she's approaching the dolphin, she can introduce herself.
So what they're doing is they're testing the distance at which the two chat boxes can efficiently recognize our synthetic sounds. Oh, there we go. All right.
We want it to work close to 100% before we take it in with the dolphins.
It's this dance between getting data and respecting their culture.
You know, I'm not very seaworthy, so.
You did great.
The true breakthrough for me with DolphinGemma is that I can generate so many of these so quickly. I just scroll through here and do days worth of work in minutes. If we can use this open model, people would take advantage of Denise's 40 years worth of research and use it to model for their own purposes.
Science is most exciting when you find something you're not expecting. You may discover something that you never even thought to look for. But that's the beauty. You don't know what's coming.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I've watched that video a dozen times, 20 times maybe, and every time I get, honestly, a little bit misty. The passion of that team, to me, is so inspiring. And keep in mind, I don't think that that video is really about Google or even the research that we've done to build the Gemma models. It's about what happens when you take models and infrastructure and compute and you put them in people's hands. You put them in a local desktop that can run on a boat, for example. You put them in phones. And so for those of you who are new to Gemma, it's our state-of-the-art model. We try to build these for the community, that is for you, so that you can build great things on top of this. In fact, Denise, who you just saw in the Dolphin video, was just named to Time's AI 100, and so we're really thrilled to see real collaboration with the external developer market, building amazing things that are then recognized and can move us forward. We launched Gemma just over a year and a half ago, and we've really been blown away by the response. You, the community, have created incredible variants, almost 100,000 variants based off of Gemma at this point, which we call the Gemmaverse. We just this week surpassed 300 million downloads of Gemma, and we've seen over 90,000 model variants by developers just like you. And these do so many interesting things, and I hope you will come join us in the Gemmaverse to continue that trend. We built a whole family of models, many sizes, many different things. One of the things that really keeps me moving forward is our variants program. If you look on the left, we have variants like PaliGemma, which is our first multimodal vision language model sets that we built. And these power interesting robotics applications worldwide, as well as very interesting image labeling and safety kind of considerations. Coding, safety, like making sure that you're creating safe outputs, understanding the safety of your inputs. New architecture types like recurrent Gemma, which uses the Griffin model architecture. SignGemma, the world's best sign language LLM, and many more. We also, take a lot of these that it's not going to be, a lot of these models are not going to be things that fundamentally live only on high-end server accelerators. They're also going to live on your desktop with your AMD graphics card running locally and also in your hand. And so we've often looked at this as a collaboration with you, the developers, to try to build that future. One place that it's happening is directly in your pocket. The real shift in the way that we're thinking about this is how do we bring the power of frontier AI to the devices that you use every day? Not as a research initiative, but as something that you developers can build on every single day. And that's why we engineered a completely new architecture for our frontier model family for local usage called Gemma 3N. Gemma 3N is also the base model for the new Gemini Nano 3, which we released just a couple months ago as well. So if you do work to tune Gemma 3N, you can also apply that in many ways to the Gemini Nano family. One thing that's really interesting is map formers. So map formers, many of you may have heard of sparsity. Typically in mixture of expert sparsity, you end up loading a much larger model on a chip so that you can get much more efficient inference. This sort of does the exact opposite. It makes it so that you have a lower memory footprint in order to get the same level of computation from a much more constrained device, specifically targeted at mobile and local environments. That's the engine that we just launched in Pixel 10, the latest version of Gemini Nano. It's accessible to all of you today. You can use open source platforms like Hugging Face and Kaggle. You can use Ollama to download Gemma 3 or Gemma 3N today. And you can run them locally on your AMD accelerators. But talking about these is really interesting, but I really mostly urge you to go out and please use these models. Chen Yu was asked what he thought the most important thing, the most important tip that he would give to developers would be. If I could give you one tip, it's use everything. Never has frontier research been closer to your hands. We build something that's completely new, that is new capabilities for humanity, and you can use it the next day, the next week. To me, that's an incredible change from just 5 years ago when I worked on frontier AI and we struggled to get it out to market at the same time in a way that was relevant to developers. This isn't really just a small step up that we're talking about. Local models are now powerhouse models. They outperform even state-of-the-art models from just a year ago. Looking at the newest Gemini Nano model, we're seeing prompt prefill feeds at over 900 tokens a second on Pixel 10. That's more than a 50% jump from the previous generation. And if you have one of these devices, you probably have never used a local model. How many people here have ever used a local model on their phone? 1, 2, 3. And what this tells me is that all of you could go out and use this. And it's not just Gemma 3N. There's plenty of other models that you can go and try on your iPhone. They're adapted to MLX. On your Android phone, we have a Google AI Edge gallery. You can just download it from the Play Store and it works seamlessly. Fast, context-aware, completely private computation. That's the power of this new architecture that we've built, and that's what we aim to achieve in Gemini Nano. And that's what happens when you put great models in the hands of a creative and passionate community of developers. When we launched Gemma 3N, we also announced the Gemma 3N Impact Challenge on Kaggle. We asked you to use these unique on-device, offline, multimodal capabilities to build products that make a better world. And the response was historic. It was our biggest Kaggle competition ever, over 8,600 entrants, which is amazing. And the winning projects were really incredible. And I want to show you one that really hopefully drives home what you as an individual developer can do with this technology in your hands. Please roll the video.
Hi, my name is Matteo and I'm 11 years old. I'm completely blind. My brother Tommaso made me this AI assistant which actually works for me. Other accessibility apps are just too complicated to use. They have too many screens, too many menus, and just end up reading everything they can see. But my brother listened to all my ideas on how to make it better. I wear my phone in this harness and use this controller. One click starts recording my question, another sends it with a photo. There are even buttons for common questions. It runs completely offline, so you can use it anywhere, and there's no problems with privacy. I can also use bone conduction headphones to hear clearly if I'm in a noisy place. Let me show you how it works. What's the name of this boat?
What's the name of this boat? Sending text with photo. Coastal cruises.
What color is this shirt, and is there any text?
What color is this shirt and is there any text? Sending text with photo. The shirt is blue with white text that reads Los Angeles, California.
What item is this?
What item is this? Sending text with photo. Mini Oreo cookies.
How much do these cost?
How much do these cost? Sending text with photo. The price is £28.
What is this?
What is it? Sending text with photo.
All right. Great. So truly incredible stuff. What I really love about this is that we actually had nothing to do with the making of that aside from issuing the Impact Challenge. There are many real problems that probably don't reach the scale for a Google or an AMD or other large companies to attack. And so it's inspiring to me to watch how it is individual developers can do things that enhance their communities. To me, that's the heart of what great research should be about improving the lives of people everywhere. All of this builds towards a much more present need and pressing need. Everybody here has talked about agents and agentic AI. And as you can see, that future is really available in your hands right now. Local models can do effective local tool calling. They can do functionally useful things for you from your hand in coordination with cloud models. For an AI agent to be truly useful in the world, it needs to translate your natural language and the world around you into actions, into good, practicable developer stacks that enable action with AI at very low latency. And thanks to a decade of focused research and engineering, I think we have that now. Small, specialized models have more than enough intelligence to do these sorts of tasks. The key is small hyper-tuned models that do one thing perfectly, translating intent into one action. And that's the path that we're on, a future where AI is not only intelligent, but it's truly personal. It's capable, it's private. Moving from the cloud to your device, from passive assistant to active partner, The building blocks are here. Gemma 3N is here and available for you to develop on now, and we hope you'll go build that together. The missing piece is really you. Your creativity, your vision, the amazing things that you want to build. And so we hope you'll come build it together with us. And with that, thank you very much. I actually have just a few minutes left. If anyone wants to ask questions, I love spicy questions. Spicy questions. Yes, please. What am I most excited about the future of Google DeepMind? I'm excited about a lot of things. One thing that we just announced last week is a new model based on Gemma called cell-to-sentence scale. You might have seen it around the internet as the AI that found a new treatment path for cancer. And this started as just a few people hanging out in the same little working area here in Mountain View and saying, hey, could we do this? Along with a great academic collaboration for Yale. It's the first time AI has ever found a novel cancer treatment pathway, and it's done with a heavily fine-tuned version of Gemma 27B. And so I'm really excited about the potential for science and improving the lives of millions of people worldwide. There are many, many other applications like this as well. I have several friends who have mysterious, health conditions, and they use Gemini to get an accurate diagnosis and find the right treatment path. I find these kinds of applications to be really endlessly valuable. And then finally, the last thing is, you hear a lot about agents, but I think agents is perhaps an overbroad term. Mostly, I'm excited for AI that does things, right? I want a personal AI. I don't want an AI that's just the same for everybody. I want something that's truly about you. And so when you say, hey, send my wife a text that I'm going to be home late, don't listen to me phone. Then I actually wanted to do it. I don't want to have to, go 7 turns with a chatbot to then copy paste it and make it sound like it wasn't written by an LLM. Right? I wanted to actually take that action for me, and to me to be able to trust that as well. So those are the areas that I'm most excited by. I love the question. All right. Any other questions? Not all at once. Yes, please.
Is there any sustainability risk with bringing on more tokens and more compute with bringing these to the edge?
Yeah, so the question is there a sustainability risk with taking things more to the edge or bringing on more tokens and more compute? We tend to think that if you can push a lot of inference to lower energy situations, that it might actually lower the burden on a lot of the compute that we see right now. That may or may not pan out. Obviously, it's less efficient to run off of a battery that's on your phone. But what we're seeing is that you can do more with less these days. These small models. Even I use one every day on my phone. I use a local Gemma-based model on my phone every day. And when you look at it, it never takes up more than 10% of my battery life, right? And so I think actually there are many things that you can do, and they're not as power hungry as people think they would be. If we just continue to use only, the Ferrari, the Bugatti models of these, then maybe it is that we have a fuel consumption problem. But if it's a smart car version and it gets you from A to B, maybe that's also a good idea. Great question. Yes, please. Have you been listening to me behind the scenes? I was just talking about this with Joe from Meta. Yeah, so I'm a big believer in federated training and differential privacy for a wide variety of things. We didn't put it in this as a variant, but actually just a few weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago, we released VaultGemma. VaultGemma is the world's first fully differentially privately trained LLM. And it uses 100% federated both learning for pre-training as well as post-training. This is a huge step forward in my opinion. Many of you who have not worked in this field, I'll shortly describe why that is. Because it's mathematically provable that you can extract any of the training or tuning data. And it's something that could be privacy secure for a wide variety of things. I dream of futures where Google, Amazon, Meta, and many others co-train models based off of private data that are good for the world. Things like bad actor identification on the internet. So, each of these large companies has some information about who's a scammer and who's not. And I would like to co-train large models that are fully differentially private to help make sure that we're reducing harms as AI spread. a great question. Yes, please.
It's very exciting how you bring research to everyday's life. I'm curious, I mean, you can actually now provide a personal coach for every single person. At the same time, a lot of people are scared and reluctant towards AI because they're replacing their white-collar jobs.
Yep.
So what is your research saying about the adoption or trust towards
Yes.
absolutely amazing solutions?
Yeah, so what does our research say about adoption and trust as we move to a more LLM integrated world where people are afraid of losing what they do? I love this question. It's something that we work on a lot from a human-centered AI and AGI research perspective. So fundamentally, I tend to believe that this is a shift very much like many other technological shifts, the internet, the industrial revolution, and many others, just over a compressed time scale. One of the things that I think we always tend to overestimate in these is that we will replace huge swaths of humanity. For those of you who have been in the tech industry for a while, you may remember all of the last waves of we're never going to need engineers anymore. That was web developers. Oh, I can make a website in Adobe Dreamweaver. Who needs an engineer anymore? And the last ones that we're going to replace, especially here in America, we're going to replace engineers was offshoring, AGI, but without the A. Actual general intelligences, right? And in the intervening 15 years, it has been the best time to be an American software developer ever, right? And the reason for that is not because they were wrong, not because those offshore developers can't do interesting things, they can. It's because we attack greater objectives. We invest farther, and the people that invest more win more. And fundamentally, I think that's what ends up happening with a lot of these AI-based capabilities as well, that we supercharge what humans can do, and we make our whole society more productive and more useful. So that's what we have to work together. It's certainly not a guaranteed outcome, but it's something that we have to work together as an industry and as a society to make sure that we do. And with that, I'm a little bit over time, so I'll hand it on back, and thank you all for having me.